Now it's 7. In the Bay Area, drivers left fuming after they were turned away from an Oakland DMV.
I took off today and I want to get a real ID.
And now I have to go to the other DMV.
And there was good reason for the closure. The major flooding and damage inside the office, all caused by copper thieves. And his great-grandfather took on the government over birthright citizenship and won.
He really did make a difference by willing to fight the system.
How he's carrying on the family legacy as the government ramps up its crackdown on immigration. Ring camera video showing someone at a door carrying something that looks like a gun. Why investigators say it's all part of a dangerous TikTok trend.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Finding an appointment at the DMV is hard enough, especially now with the Real ID deadline just around the corner. So imagine getting turned away when you get there. That's what happened to a lot of drivers in Oakland today. And here's a look at the reason why. Our chopper over the facility on 85th Avenue, where thieves got onto the roof and ripped copper right out of the HVAC system. And it all caused flooding inside the building with water pooling on the floors. Our Kara St. Cyr spoke with frustrated drivers who now have to make some other arrangements.
People that needed services at the Oakland Coliseum DMV were shocked this morning when they pulled up and saw the entire building blocked off. Carl Williams is one of several people who showed up to the DMV only to get turned away. He doesn't have a backup plan to get his car registered.
My car is grounded. Can't go anywhere until I pay this $14 fee. And I come here to pay it, and DMV is closed.
Williams says he's been back and forth with the DMV to avoid getting his car towed, but it looks like things won't get resolved today for him or anyone else needing the DMV. Thieves scaled the Oakland Coliseum DMV overnight, stealing copper piping from the HVAC system, triggering leaks and flooding throughout the building.
This is crazy.
Video from inside shows water spilling from the ceiling and pooling in the lobby. Workers locked the fence around the building to keep onlookers out as they scrambled to contain the flood. Ken Houston, the city council member for this district, says an unhoused person from the encampments nearby is likely responsible for the theft.
It's not a crime to be homeless, but it's a crime to commit crimes while you're homeless, right? There's enough services to not do things like this.
Oakland PD has not confirmed this or released any information related to the crime, but Houston says the theft represents the city's failure to police.
They stole it from out of Planned Parenthood. It's a thing that people are stealing copper pipe. They're stealing it under houses now, right? And that's unacceptable.
The running price for stolen copper is about $2 to $6 a pound, a sharp contrast to the thousands of dollars of damages it causes, and the inconvenience for DMV customers. Locations are busier than normal as people rush to get their Real ID ahead of the May 7th deadline.
So what I feel like crazy, I have to come back to work at 12. And now I have to go to the other DMV.
I took off today and I want to get a real ID because we have a short time.
As for Carl, he's thinking of a plan B.
So it looks like I'm gonna have to go to Pittsburgh, visit my brother, and go to DMV in Pittsburgh.
It's unclear when this building will reopen, but at this time, workers are redirecting people to other locations.
No word on when that DMV location will reopen. After a recall and multiple changes in leadership, Oakland voters will choose a new mayor tomorrow. The frontrunners, former Congresswoman Barbara Lee and former City Council member Lauren Taylor, have been campaigning down to the wire. The Registrar of Voters says it mailed out more than 250,000 ballots. So far, just over 47,000 have been returned. That's about 19%. Voting centers will be open until 8 tomorrow night. We'll be following the results as they come in. On to a developing story out of San Francisco where police are investigating a shooting on Turk and Mason. So this is video that just came in from our photographer. It happened about 90 minutes ago, not far from the IKEA store in the South of Market neighborhood. Police have not said what led up to the shooting, but we saw one person in custody. We'll keep you posted as more information becomes available. Dozens of unhoused people in San Jose will have a place to sleep without having to worry about their camp being swept. The city broke ground today on its first safe sleeping site. So the site will be on Taylor Street near Watson Park and will have room for up to 56 people. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan describes this as the lowest barrier form of shelter offered in San Jose.
This is taking folks out of extremely unsafe, unsanitary, unmanaged tent encampments. This site offers new, sturdier tents, security, sanitation, case management, is a managed environment. That's really the idea here.
So the goal of this site is to transition those in need to permanent housing within 30 days. Dozens of people turned up outside the ICE building in San Francisco this afternoon. They're demanding the release of Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian Columbia University graduate student.
We are our people now! We are our people now!
Khalil, who served as a negotiator for student activists at Columbia, was detained over a month ago and has been held in ICE custody ever since. The White House accused him of siding with terrorists, but hasn't provided evidence of that claim. On Friday, an immigration judge ruled that Khalil, a legal U.S. resident, can be deported, and people at today's protest say they're worried this could lead to more deportations.
And what this is doing is it's setting a precedent that they are now going to go after naturalized U.S. citizens after this moment. So what's important to do in this moment and why so many people are out in the streets is we need a mass movement to say absolutely not. We will not stand by these deportations.
Khalil's lawyer is planning to appeal. So many of President Trump's strict immigration policies are being challenged in court right now, including his executive order to do away with birthright citizenship. It is a right established by the case of a San Francisco man more than 100 years ago. Kevin Coe talked to his great-grandson, who is unexpectedly carrying on his family's legacy.
Norman Wong had to wait until the 80s before he learned his family history was intertwined with American history.
My place in the world has changed because I have a famous great-great-grandfather, and he really did make a difference by willing to fight the system.
Norman Wong is the great-grandson of Wong Kim Ark, born in 1873 in San Francisco. He was denied re-entry after a visit to China, sued the U.S., arguing the 14th Amendment guaranteed his citizenship, and won. That fight still runs in Norman's bloodline more than a century later.
His efforts actually validated my life to some extent.
The 1898 Supreme Court decision set the precedent for birthright citizenship. This year, President Trump issued an executive order with the aim of putting an end to the practice as it stands.
He signed an order that will end birthright citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. Because it wasn't meant for these children.
The Trump administration argues the 14th Amendment has been interpreted incorrectly and far too broadly. It's a sentiment for Norman that doesn't sit well.
We need to get America on the right track where people care for each other. If we're going to live as a people, we're going to die as one people. And it's up to us.
Civil rights attorney Annie Lee is the managing director of policy at the CAA in Chinatown.
Birthright citizenship is something we take for granted. It's been the law of the land for over 100 years, and everyone thought it was settled because it's very clear in the 14th Amendment.
She says the executive order has no legal basis, but believes some damage has already been done.
Even if it loses in the courts, what you have done is you have instilled fear in the community. You have signaled to, H-1B visa holders that you're not actually welcome here, even though you can work here right now. You shouldn't see a future for yourself here.
Recently, San Francisco officials held a ceremony outside the apartment where Wong Kim Ark lived in Chinatown to commemorate his landmark Supreme Court case 127 years ago. Now, his 74-year-old great-grandson is unexpectedly picking up where he left off.
I feel, I don't know, maybe his energy runs through me too, but I also feel the energy of all these people that support me to bring out what I say for the sake of this country and my posterity. Let's get it right.
President Trump's executive order has been blocked by 3 federal judges. The administration is now taking the case to the Supreme Court. A stern warning from law enforcement in Sacramento County highlighting a dangerous TikTok trend. They received a report of teenagers coming up to a door in Carmichael with what looks like a gun. So this is ring footage of the incident. The teen flashes a metal object at the camera. Another teen stands behind holding up a phone. Authorities believe it is part of a TikTok trend where kids then squirt the homeowner with a water gun when they answer. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says they're going to be treated as armed and violent suspects.
Well, obviously, we're not thinking it's a prank. And I know, some people are like, well, it's just kids playing a prank. And that's not how we're treating it.
Good. The Sheriff's Office says it's also worried about homeowners hurting the pranksters when acting in self-defense if they see someone on their doorstep with a gun. Wow, some frantic moments as a quake strikes San Diego County. We're hearing from people near the epicenter. And we'll take you inside Chase Center, where the Valkyries are picking their brand new team in the WNBA draft. Who's on their roster so far?
Across the Bay Area, we're seeing the fog streaming through the Golden Gate and swallowing up San Francisco. The influence of the marine layer kept temperature in the city at 60 degrees, only 50s along the coast, but inland made it up into the mid-80s. We'll narrow down that gap as we head through the next few days. Details coming up at First Alert Weather.
A 5.2 earthquake rattled people in the San Diego area this morning. The quake struck a little after 10 a.m. The epicenter was near the small town of Julian, just south of the Elsinore fault zone. Ashley and her husband Andrew were home with their infant son Michael. When the earth moved, so they scrambled to get out of the house, and they said their home was built in the 1960s and is mostly made of wood.
We have a large beam that runs through the center of our house, and I heard a cracking noise. And so my first instinct was to get out because I didn't want to be underneath that beam.
Get the baby. The initial quake was followed by 7 aftershocks. However, no major damage has been reported. San Francisco is beaming with excitement with the WNBA draft underway. Crowds have gathered at Thrive City for a watch party as the Golden State Valkyries fill out their roster. So we heard from an Oakland woman who has secured her season tickets.
Super fan, #1 fan, supporting ladies sports, especially the WNBA. Happy the franchise is here and happy to be a part of it.
All right, so how about those draft picks? Let's go inside Chase Center where Vern Glenn has more on the team's new additions. Hey there, Vern.
All right there, Jules. There's a press conference that'll be going on in just a few minutes, about 20 yards from me, as it has been a very busy day in this building for the Golden State Valkyries' first ever WNBA draft. 3 new players have been added to the roster, and they made their first selection earlier tonight.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Golden State Valkyries select Juste Jochite from Lithuania.
The 19-year-old guard celebrated hearing her name called. She's regarded as one of the top international prospects in the draft and started playing professionally when she was only 14. And then, with the 17th pick, the Valkyries selected Cheyenne Sellers out of Maryland, 6'2" guard that averaged 13 points per game for her 4 seasons with the Terps. Sellers is having quite the month. She also got engaged earlier this week. And just moments ago, with the team's 3rd pick, 30th overall, the team selected Caitlin Chen out of Connecticut. So Chen, 5'9" of her, brings her NCAA national championship vibe to the Bay Area. So that catches you up to what's going on with the draft picks. Next up, the training camp. The season starts May 16th against the LA Sparks. Jules?
Can't wait. Sounds awesome, Vern. Thank you. And don't forget, CBS News Bay Area is the home of the Valkyries. More than 30 games will air on KPIX and PIX Plus. We'll also bring you a weekly show with behind-the-scenes access to the team's inaugural season. Think about that. We're hearing all these new names coming to the Bay Area. They're going to be household names. You mark my word there, Paul.
Just over a month away.
I know.
May 16th.
Yeah. All the home games will be shown on KPIX and on PIX Plus, so pretty exciting.
Just try to imagine those kids where they're college kids, 1 minute, and then a month they're going to be professional basketball players. Like that happens fast.
It does, just like that.
Yeah, let's take a look at what's happening weather-wise. We're going to see pretty typical Bay Area weather here as we head through the next couple of days, which means the fog is back. Here's the view as we look from Salesforce Tower over the fog towards Sutro Tower, just barely poking its head up above the layer of fog. Here's what you need to know as we head through the next few weeks. Cool, breezy conditions are going to kick in tomorrow and again on Wednesday and Thursday, but we're only cooling back to basically what's normal for this time of year. Very slight chance of a couple of pop-up showers tomorrow and Wednesday. Outside chance that maybe one of those develops into a thunderstorm. The greater potential of that's really going to be through the Central Valley. And then we warm up again as we hit the end of the work week and head into Easter weekend. Easter weekend itself looking very pleasant. Temperatures running a few degrees above average. There's the fog in the distance as we look towards downtown Oakland, but the marine influence is certainly being felt in Oakland, where the temperature is only 56 degrees. It's 54 downtown San Francisco and only 57 in Santa Rosa. So that cool air is making its way through the gaps in the terrain and well into the inland valleys of the North Bay. While temperatures in San Jose, Livermore, and Concord still running in the 60s and low 70s. So a wide variety in our temperatures at the moment. We'll even that out as we head through the rest of tonight, as the fog is going to continue to spread out, spreading from its current location along the coast well into the inland valleys by early tomorrow morning. So reduced visibilities for the Tuesday morning commute. I would allow a couple extra minutes on the way out the door to make your way through that fog. Now this checks just the low-level cloud cover and the clouds sitting at ground level in the form of fog. There's going to be cloud cover farther up in the atmosphere, kind of a layer cake effect, and that's going to block the sunshine for a lot of us throughout the day on Tuesday. You'll see a mix of clouds and sun inland, but the clouds are going to be pretty tough to shake around the bay and along the coast, and that's going to have an impact on temperatures, which will start off within a few degrees on the positive side of what's normal for this time of year. So a lot of low 50s in the Santa Clara Valley, upper 40s and low 50s mixed together for most of the Bay Area, and even the coolest spots in the North Bay only dropping down into the mid 40s by early tomorrow morning. Temperatures are only going to warm up, though, to the mid 60s in the North Bay because that fog and cloud cover is going to be especially stubborn there and around the bay and along the coast. Only low 60s in San Francisco, upper 50s for the coast, with temperatures east of the Oakland Hills, a mix of upper 60s and low 70s, and also around 70 degrees into the Santa Clara Valley. For the South Bay, getting up to 71 degrees in San Jose. It's going to feel cool inland compared to where we've been recently, but these numbers are very close to where we're supposed to be on tax day, April 15th. So if you haven't done that, tomorrow's your last day. Let's take a look at the winds, which are going to be a factor the next couple of days. These are the every 6-hour wind gusts. They're going to be kicking in tomorrow and again on Wednesday. There's the data refreshing on the fly. We're going to have some gusts in the 25 to 30 mile an hour range tomorrow and again on Wednesday. It's not strong enough for a wind advisory, but it's going to make those cooler temperatures feel even cooler. And that slight chance of a pop-up shower, it's a really slight chance. Our rain chances are going to remain in the low to chance category tomorrow and Wednesday. But again, there's the potential that if one of those showers develops, it could develop into an actual thunderstorm. Storm Prediction Center has outlined parts of California for the risk of what they call general thunderstorms, which means thunderstorms without the severe weather potential that you would see in other parts of the country. Can't rule out a rumble or two of thunder, but those should not be a primary concern as we head through the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, and we will start at the coast, where even once you see the sunshine breaking through that low cloud cover and fog, you're not going to warm up a lot, just a few degrees, which puts us up to just above 60 degrees by Friday and Saturday. Easter weekend, though, is looking good. Probably a little more cloud cover on Sunday, but it's not going to have a huge impact on our temperatures. Around the bay, we go from the mid-60s tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday to around or just short of 70 degrees for the holiday weekend. And temperatures farther inland, you got a few days in the 60s, and then it's back up into the 70s, which is about 3 to 5 degrees above normal for Easter weekend. Jules?
All right, Paul, thank you. Up next, a nearly 30-year-old murder case solved. How San Jose police were able to identify a suspect after all of these years. Detectives in San Jose have used DNA to solve a nearly 30-year-old cold case. San Jose police say 28-year-old Karen Gavorkov was walking with a friend near Starbird Park in 1997 when 3 men approached them. And one of them beat the victim to death with a baseball bat. At the time, detectives identified Victor Lamont Ferguson as a person of interest, but he was never formally interviewed about the crime and moved to Kansas. It was advances in DNA testing that helped crack this case.
Having advanced DNA testing technology has made a big difference, especially for this case when we were able to take DNA from the victim's clothing and tie it to the suspect and conclusively say that it was suspect Ferguson that was responsible.
Ferguson died in Kansas in 2022. Even though he can't be charged, police say they hope this new evidence gives the victim's family some peace. College football's national champs visit the White House, but things didn't quite go as planned. We'll show you next. The college football national champion Ohio State University Buckeyes visited the White House today to celebrate their win. But the event included kind of an embarrassing blunder. During the presentation on the south lawn of the White House, Vice President J.D. Vance attempted to pick up the trophy. Oops, but then it broke in half with the bottom portion hitting the ground. He then held the top portion to pose for photos. There you go. Put it back together. Thanks for watching. The news continues at 8 on PIX Plus or 44 Cable 12. We'll see you right back here at 11 o'clock. Have a great evening.